This is kind of important. Our job here is to make sure that viewers have the best information possible. So in today's conversation, I want to explain to you how to get large business trade lines fast and free with no personal guarantee. We're talking about up to $250,000, a quarter of a million in business trade lines. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Security Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you are to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to explain to you the method that works when it comes to getting a large business trade line up to a quarter of a million, and how to get that fast and free with no PG, with no personal guarantee. It's very important. Now, when we speak about business trade lines, this is a criterion that is important when it comes to establishing business credit, right? You have other ways. If you have a startup or an established business, you can build business credit through business credit cards, business loans, but also business trade lines. So when we speak about business trade lines, we're talking about what? We're talking about net 30 account, net 30 vendors, net 45, net 15, depending upon the setup that the vendor has. But we also talk about making sure that you get an EIN. Very important. You cannot have a business, you cannot establish a business trade line if you don't have an EIN. EIN stands for what? Employer Identification Number. You get it from the IRS. You need to register your business with your state. We strongly recommend from a legal perspective that you set up an LLC. Even if you are one person business, it's okay. You can have a single member LLC. You can set up an LLC, LP, S Corp or C Corp, anything but sole proprietorship. And you want to get a DUNS number. We actually have covered on other shows how to get a DUNS number from the from Dun and Bradstreet, right? This is important. So once you do that, you have to do a few things. Now, before I get into the actual step by step, you have to understand that at the end of the day, business trade credit matters a lot because it helps you improve cash flows. It helps you do the segregation between your personal credit and business credit, which is quintessential. If your goal is to establish business credit at the end of the day, you need to segregate. You need to separate your personal affairs, your personal credit worthiness from your business credit worthiness. Did you hear that? Very important. So once you have that, you have a whole constellation of benefits that awaits you, including no personal credit check. So whenever you want to buy something from, say, Office Depot, Office Max, or Granger, or other net 30 vendor, they're not checking your personal credit. No, because you have elevated your company's business credit at a certain level, whereas they just pay attention to your business credit, and that's what you want. You want to have vendor accounts without personal guarantee. It's very important, and most of them want you to operate in the United States, to have a tax ID and a DUNS number to be established for at least 30 days. They want to make sure you have no derogatory business reporting or delinquencies, and that you are an authorized officer of the organization. And I want you to watch our video, the top 7 net 30 vendors that approve large business trade lines, no matter what. This video, the one that you're watching, the one that you're watching right now, is sequential to the other video. Okay, so those two are complementary. They are both complementary. Now let's talk about the step by step. The first thing you need to do if you want to get large business trade lines fast and free with no PG, you got to map out your needs for supplies. Let me just clarify that. Let's say you have a business, right? You have a startup or established business, and every day you go through your business, you know that there is stuff that you need operationally to be able to operate, right? And you want to identify the type of supplies that your business needs regularly and operationally. In other words, services you cannot do without. Folks, this is so important. The duality here is critical. Regularly and operationally. Because if it's only regularly, but you don't need it fundamentally, it's not going to have the same effect. So you want to make sure that you get the supplies that you need all the time, the supplies that you cannot do without. It can be supplies or services, okay? So businesses in general needs they need a variety of supplies. Things like appliances, cabinets and countertops, doors and molding, electrical, electronics, fitness and exercise, flooring and ceiling, food service, furniture and decor, grounds, hardware, healthcare supplies, hospitality supplies. You have janitorial, lighting and ceiling fans, linens, office supplies, painting supplies, plumbing, pool supplies, property marketing. All right. Safety, signs, storage, tools, windows, window coverings. What am I talking about here? I'm not saying that your particular business will need all this kind of supplies, right? I'm just saying that you might find one or two or three supplies categories in the list that I just gave you. Of course, this list is not exhaustive. The bottom line here is that you need to identify, based on the industry you're in, based on your particular company, what supplies you need. Another question you need to ask yourself: do you need services? Right? What kind of services do you need? Do you need business plan writing? Do you need consulting? Do you need operational consulting? Do you need accounting services? Do you need bookkeeping services? Do you need due diligence services? Do you need market research? That kind of stuff. So when I say map your needs, you need to map out your needs for supplies. It's not just tangible products, but also intangible services. Okay? And then you have to think about the amount you expect to spend. This will come from your budget. But the bottom line here is you got to have an idea. And the clearer the idea, the better. You got to have an idea of how much you are willing to spend or how much you are expected to spend at the operational stage you find your business at the current moment. Very critical, folks. Now, step number 2. So once you map out your needs for supplies and services, you want to get your act together. What is that? If you want to get a large business Tradeline fast and free with no personal guarantee up to $250,000, you better have your act together. First, EIN. I already spoke about that. This is very simple. You go to the IRS website, you fill in a very short form. Within 5 minutes, you get your EIN. Very simple. Second, you need to register at the state level. As I said earlier, you want to have a legal structure. You want to have the accoutrements, the paraphernalia of a real company, of a legit company. And you can't get that through a sole proprietorship. No. You want to have an LLC, a limited liability company, or an S Corp or C Corp, depending upon the setup that you choose. Obviously, S Corp and C Corps have different varying levels of complexity. For example, S Corp, you cannot have more than 100 members rather, and those must be a U.S. resident or U.S. citizen. So I'm not getting to the complexities, the arcana of legal structures here, but just know that it's better for you, if you are a small business, to go with LLC. You also want to have your articles of incorporation or articles of organization. So articles of incorporation are geared towards corporations, so S Corp or C Corp, and articles of organization are meant for ALCs and LCs. Okay, so you want to have those things, and then you need to open a business account at a traditional bank. You here I'm talking about Chase or Bank of America or Wells Fargo, you name it. And then you will also want to open a business account at a business bank account. So you want to open a business checking account and or savings account at a traditional bank. You want to do the same thing at a credit union. Why? Credit unions are cheaper and easier when it comes to opening accounts. And it's also great for building business credit. The reason why you want to open, the reason why we suggest you open a business checking account at both a traditional bank and a credit union is to diversify your business, your banking business. In other words, there will come a time where you will need a loan. You will need a business loan or a business credit card. So the more diverse you are in terms of your banking business, the better your odds of getting the business loan and business credit cards. So for example, if you get denied at a traditional bank, guess what? You can turn around and just go to a credit union like Navy Fed or Boeing Employees Credit Union. You also want to make sure you have your business permits and licenses. And if you're lucky, if you have good credit or fair credit or excellent credit, trying to get business credit cards. So this is what I mean by getting your act together. Step number 3, you need to prepare a business plan. Why do you need that? First of all, we're talking here about getting a large business trade line, fast and free, with no personal guarantee, up to $250,000. You need a business plan. Why? Do you really think that there are companies around there who will they will just trust you simply because you have a great business, the name sounds good, or you just tell them you want a trade line and they just give it to you for free? No. They want to have proof. They want to have evidential matter that will make them believe that this is a great partner, that your company is a great partner. And how do you substantiate that? How do you prove to them that you are a great partner? By preparing a business plan. Folks, this is so important. Remember, at the end of the day, a vendor that is extending to you a large business trade line is worried about risk mitigation, is worried about default risk, is worried about credit risk, right? They are worried about making sure that they are covering their ass. And the best way for them to cover their ass is to make sure they have something in paper, something written that shows them, hey, listen, we've made the right decision. And a business plan does that. A business plan encapsulates, it actually epitomizes, it summarizes where your business has been, where it is, and where it's going. And a business plan is really where it's at when it comes to demonstrating to investors or lenders or vendors that you are legit. Okay, very important. And what are the components of a business plan? You have to talk about your executive summary, company description, market analysis, competitive analysis. You have to describe management and organization. You want to break down your products and services. Of course, you got to have a marketing plan. Marketing plan is critical. A sales strategy, a request for funding, right? So you're asking for $250,000 in business trade line. Again, folks, this is a maximum. You might just request 10 grand, who knows? Or you just want to have 5 grand. But even if you're asking for 5 grand, you want to have a business plan. Why? Because maybe your business will actually start blowing up, and you might need more. You might want your business trade line to be increased. So it's better to have a business plan that's already done, so you don't have to do it over and over and over. And you also want to include financial projections. So the higher the trade line you want, the more details you have to be, the more thorough you have to be in terms of financial projections. How do you prepare a business plan? You can do it yourself. You can go to freelancer websites. You can use software such as LivePlan, Enloop, or SmartBase. You can hire a local business consultant, right? That's kind of cool too. Or you can even hire a business plan writing company such as Wise Business Plans. Okay, by the way, this company, they're also a net 30 vendor, but they charge you a $99 membership fee. And chances are you will not need a business plan every day or week, right? So I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Security Kiwi Show. I'm still having a clear conversation with you about how to get large business trade lines fast and free with no personal guarantee. We're speaking here about a trade line that goes all the way to $250,000. Step number 4, you want to prepare an operational budget or an operating budget. This is important. And I'm just showing you just a snapshot of what it looks like, courtesy of the Corporate Finance Institute, CFI. And you need to have an operating budget. Why, folks? Because the bottom line here is that an operating budget is inward looking and outward looking. Inward because it provides you the criteria necessary for you to identify where you're going, right? If you're driving a car, if you're driving, let me just use a metaphor here. You're driving your company car to somewhere, but you have no idea where you're going, or you have no GPS. Imagine where you probably, or you might be ending up in a place you don't want to. But if you have a GPS, but if you have a clear idea, like back in the days before the GPS came in the market, our parents, at least my parents, they used to have maps, and those maps they were fantastic. Okay, my point is that an operational budget allows you, it provides both the GPS that you need, that your company needs, but also the map. So it provides the GPS, the map, and also the vision of where you're going. Okay, and an operational budget consists of all revenues and expenses over a period of time. Typically, it could be a quarter or a year. Okay, and the idea here is that you want to prepare that because this will give you a clear idea about what office supplies, about what services, about what goods you need. And once you have that, you can reach out to vendors who offer that kind of services and or products. Okay, that way you can have a clear conversation because listen, if you go to a vendor and say, listen, here is our operational budget. We expect to spend, say, $100,000 in supplies in the next 3 months. We've done our budget. We have the cash flow for it. Imagine the conversation, like the strength of the strength of your position in that negotiation. It makes it a lot easier because the vendor is saying that you have this is potential business for them. You have done your calculation, and they will be more likely to extend you the business trade line you're looking for because they see proof that by extending this trade line to you, this is $100,000 guaranteed revenue for them in the next 3 months. So on an operational budget, you want to include things like cost of goods sold, direct selling cost, sales commissions, payment processing fees, freight, direct labor, certain aspect of marketing. You can also include fixed costs like rent, head office, insurance, telecommunication, management salaries and benefits, and utilities. Okay, this is just the idea. Step number 5, folks. You want to seek the right vendors for your business. So step number 1, you map out your needs and services for your company needs and your needs for supplies and services, right? Step number 2, you get your act together. Number 3, you prepare a business plan. Number 4, you prepare an operating budget. Number 5, you need to seek the right vendors. So once you have an operating budget, once you have a clear idea of your needs for supplies and services, once you have prepared a business plan, little by little, you have a clear idea of the kind of vendors you are looking for. Because, for example, if you have a need for office supplies, you're not going to call a management consulting company. They're not giving you the supplies, right? You might want to think about, for example, Office Max or Office Depot or that kind of vendor. When it comes to seeking the right vendors for your business, you got to be strategic here. The reason is that not all vendors can give you a large business trade line. And for that vendor to give it to you, guess what? They better have their own balance sheet better be strong, because if the vendor is a little shaky, if their financial statements are lethargic, if they're not making money themselves, they're not going to extend you such a high amount in terms of business trade line. This is just pure logic. This is revenue management 101. Okay, so you want to seek vendors based on a few criteria, including the cost, the quality and safety of the products that will be delivered to you, the delivery, so everything about logistics, service, customer service, and again, service across the whole value chain, from the time you place an order to the time it is delivered and afterwards. What is the social responsibility of the vendor? What is the CSR policy? Okay, CSR standing for corporate social responsibility. This is an important criterion. What is the risk? What is the convenience and simplicity? And what is the agility? How agile is this vendor? So this is the bevy of criteria you need to pay attention to when evaluating the vendors that you want to pick for your business. Step number 6. So once you have sought the right vendors for your business, you want to choose net 30 vendors that offer large free trade lines. Again, up to $250,000. So we have actually covered this on another show. This is what I was showing you earlier. And so I'm not going to spend too much time here. I'm just going to give you the list of, we have done an in-depth review of this part on another show. But if you want to get a large business trade line fast and free, you want to reach out to Granger. In our view, this is a great company, 10 over 10. You want to reach out to Uline. So with Granger, you're looking at products about safety and security, lighting, electrical, tools and test instruments, cleaning and janitorial, pipes, hose, tube and fittings, plumbings and pumps. And then you have Uline. We also scored this company 10 over 10. Here you have many useful products, and it's great. You go to if you go to the third one is HD Supply. We scored this company 9.5 over 10. They sell a lot of stuff from appliances to hardware to healthcare supplies. Okay, and we also have a company called Office Depot, Office Max. Everybody knows Office Depot, Office Max. So, so this is an office supply company that operates nationwide, right? So they sell everything from computers to supplies to software to printers. And you also have Sumo Office Supplies, another great company. We have scored this company 9 over 10, and they also provide office products ranging from pens to tapes to markers to envelopes to legal pads and correction supplies. Okay, and then we have also Strategic Network Solutions. This is a service provider, so we have scored this company 8 over 10. So they supply IT services, Dell computers, AVG, various hardware and software companies, and they also provide information technology services solutions to over 5,000 clients globally. Then we also have Quill. Our score is 8 over 10, another great company. And they sell office supplies also, cleaning agents, healthcare and safety supplies, as well as tools and break room supplies. So you have it. So of course, this list is not exhaustive, but it's a great list to start with. They're not charging you anything. They will approve you. They have the financial strength, the balance sheet needed to approve a large business trade line, and that's what you're looking for. This is the topic of today's conversation. Step number 7, folks. You want to start with low amounts and you want to pay regularly. Let me explain what I mean. The thing here is that your goal is to get from those vendors, right, a huge business trade line. But you got to start little. They're not giving this to you from the first day. No. When you send them the business plan, when you send them your operational budget, they want to see you in action. It's not about words. No. You want to do things concrete. It's all about actions. So you want to buy regularly, at least $150 per week. You want to pay regularly. It's important to establish a pattern of regularity, a pattern of recurrence. And that pattern, little by little, will create some kind of creditworthiness, and they will see you as a strong vendor, as a strong customer rather. You also want to sign up for newsletters. You want to take advantage of coupons, promo codes. What I'm trying to say here is you want to really immerse your company in the operations of the vendor. You want to buy from them regularly. You want to respond to the promos, all that kind of stuff. And you want to do this for 90 days. You want to do this because you're trying to make sure that you establish a pattern with them. The pattern is the most important thing. Once you have that, you want to contact the supplier's sales department. Okay, so after 3 months, what you want to do here is that you want to now have a conversation with someone, because you have established the 90 days of creditworthiness, quote unquote. And when you contact the sales department, don't contact the credit department. You want to contact the sales department, because the sales department will actually hook you up with the credit department. And the sales department has an incentive to make what? To generate sales. So they will look at you more favorably. So you want to show them the business plan. You want to show them the operating budget. You want to explain the business potential, right? How much you could buy from them. And if possible, seek a live interview or a presentation, right? You can even go to the nearest store if they have one in the area, in the vicinity. We know, for instance, the Office Depot, Office Max, they have nationwide coverage. So chances are they have a store in your area. So you want to go there physically. Don't do things electronically. No. The internet is fantastic. It's beautiful. It makes things fast. But when it comes to establishing a large business trade line, especially if they want to give you $250,000, they want to see you. So what you want to do is you want to apply this strategy for 3 or 5 suppliers, big ones versus local suppliers. You want to pitch them against each other. For example, you can tell them, listen, I'm talking to other suppliers in the area. You're not the only one. I would love to do business with you, but just keep in mind that I'm also shopping around. And this is normal. You're running your business the way they're running their business too, right? So you want to do this because you want to make sure you don't put all your eggs in the same basket. You want to diversify the search. You want to diversify the sources of large business trade lines. All right, folks. This is it for today's conversation. I was just having a quick convo with you about how to get large business trade lines fast and free with no personal guarantee. And I gave you an overview about the whole topic. And the step-by-step here is first you want to map out your needs for supplies and services. Number 2, you want to get your act together. Number 3, you want to prepare a business plan. Number 4, you want to prepare an operating budget. Number 5, you want to seek the right vendors for your business. Number 6, you want to choose net 30 vendors offering large and free business trade lines. Number 7, you want to start with low amounts and pay regularly. Establish the pattern I was just telling you about. And number 8, last but not the least, you want to contact the supplier's sales department. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I really appreciate it. I will speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.